and breathe. Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It's time for another review of another Oxford game. Today, the Yellows were at home to Blackpool. It's the start of February and that starts a crazy month for Oxford United. We've got fixtures every Tuesday and every Saturday. It's going to be a monster month, but there's going to be a lot of reviews and you should be excited. There's a lot of Oxford games. There's some major stories news-wise, as we all know, but we'll get to that. Let's just jump into the team news for this game. So John Mousinho came back in, as did James Henry and Cameron Brannigan. Great to see those guys back in the team. And Nathan Holland got a start as well. Good to see Matty Taylor on the bench. Good to see him coming back from injury. Elliot Moore, Jamie Mackie dropping out of the side. And there are also two notable absentees from the starting lineup. Yes, we can't ignore it anymore. As you already know, Oxford on transfer deadline day sold Shandon Baptiste and Tariq Fosu to Brentford for a combined fee of £3 million. Oxford's Twitter exploded. They went into meltdown. Everyone going crazy. Not only at the fact those guys got sold, but the fact no one came in to replace them. I'm sure you all want to know my thoughts about it. And so let's just, here it is. First of all, I just want to say well done to those guys and thank you for the time you spent at Oxford United. Tariq Fosu wasn't here very long, but he definitely had some great games. We've got some fond memories of him. He scored that wonderful hat-trick against Lincoln and obviously that West Ham game where he was in that purple patch where he was terrorising defenders. Shandon's a little bit different. You had like a little connection with the fans. I mean, he's a homegrown player, not really homegrown, but a guy that's that we've helped develop and we've really sort of started his football journey. He scored some amazing goals and just looked like such a super footballer. Like nobody anyone could deny, he looked a better player than Oxford United's level. Just his touch and everything about his game, his composure, just seemed that he would fit in at a higher level. And who's to say he wouldn't go even higher and play in the Premier League? It is what it is. We're always going to think our players are worth more. This is what Brentford thought was a fair price for him, and we took him. It's like less than £3 million for Baptiste. Just remember, I mean, we're not a club that's in a position that can really hold on to people. We have got the evil overlord, and people forget about the evil overlord Kassam, who looks over the club, and we constantly need to feed. We constantly need to generate money to pay for his ridiculous rent for the ridiculous stadium. So players like Baptiste, players like Roof in the past are always going to be ones that looked at and going to be taken away from us. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. My biggest bone of contention with the whole thing is the fact that we didn't address key issues to the squad. We needed to replace Cadden and provide cover for Long, and we needed fucking goal scorer. And I'm sorry for the bad language there, but I've been banging on about this for months. Our inability to stick the ball in the back of the net has certainly come back to bite us in the arse in a few games. I can think of some games where we lost 1-0, that we dominated, that we really should have got something out of. And I cannot believe we didn't bring in a striker to help Matt Taylor, because Mackie gives us no goals, and Adji, I don't think Robinson's got any faith in Dan Adji. So yeah, I'm sure Robinson wanted people, and he talked about how he had two big targets. I know they wanted Will Grigg, but they couldn't get over the line, but surely you could have brought in someone. Surely somebody could have come in. And you have to say now, and I'm sorry to be blunt about this, Oxford fans, I have to question the intention of the board of whether they really want us to go up this season, because that is something, the goal scoring area is so critical. We really needed to someone come in the door, and I really have serious doubts about whether Oxford are going to go up now this season. So back to league matters and this game. Oxford haven't won a league game yet in 2020, despite obviously having a good result and performance last time out. We haven't had some bad results, just haven't won a game yet. Blackpool's form's been terrible. They were up and around the playoffs, but a really bad run of form. They also haven't won a game yet in 2020. I've seen them slip down to 15th place. But they still do have players like Medine, and they still do have players like Nandalay that really are pinnacle to them. Probably Nandalay's lack of goals over the last few weeks has been the reason why Blackpool have dropped off in form. He really is the catalyst of everything that they do well. So their form's been up and down a lot this season. But they did obviously give Oxford their first defeat of the season. It was a 1-0 defeat at Bloomfield Road way back when, at the start of the season. So this is going to be quite a nervy game. Oxford just need to find a win. We need to get this bad feeling of the transfer window out of the way. We've still got a strong side, a strong midfield, just a little bit threadbare up front. As Robinson said, it is what it is. So we need a win in this one today, folks. It's actually not going to be me doing the review. It's actually going to be Thomas. He went to the game. He got free tickets, the lucky sod. So you're going to see Tom's fantastical, magical views from an outsider. It'll be quite interesting, of a non-Oxford fan's view of the team. But I am going to say, let's just pray that Oxford get a win, and I'm going to hand you over to Tom's review.
As you can see, there's lots of people. It's going to be really busy today. We're really excited about it. It's Oxford vs Blackpool, 3 o'clock kickoff. Come meet you live. Right, so we're here. The game is going to start in about half an hour. I think I've got Oxford to win 2-0. Pretty sure Ian has them to win or draw. Who knows? He's not really an Oxford fan. Keep you updated throughout the game. Show you the beginning of it, and let's go Yellows. Minutes away from kickoff, there is a sparse crowd today, but it's a beautiful day, and we are very close to the action. Look at that. Look at that. We'll see everything as long as it's on the left side of the pitch. Not the right side, the left side. Half time, it's 2-1, Oxford United are winning. Second goal is quite good. First goal is deflection, shit first goal to concede. Not playing the wings, not really moving the ball forward very well, which has been a bit of a problem. They don't want to use their wing play, which is wide open. We'll have to see what happens in the second half. They're in complete control, and then they just have these random spells where they lose the ball. Good to see them getting goals. Good to see Marcus Browne playing as a striker, which is his natural position, and actually playing well. Pretty hopeful for the second half. They created quite a few chances. I think Browne forced the goalkeeper to a good stop, and they're looking really, really good when they actually get the attacking third. So let's do the second half, brings. So Oxford United 2, Blackpool 1. They managed to pull the result out. Let's talk about the first half. Oxford were in complete control. They had 72% possession. They were laboured at the back, though. They made a couple early errors. I think Rob Dickey was put on his bum for the first goal, which was completely against the run of play and was very like the Oxford run that's happening. But they had complete control of the ball. Their centre mid kept dropping in. I think it was Josh Ruffles would drop in the middle. Centre backs would play like that, and the wingers would move up the sides. And it was actually really good football to watch. They managed to get 1 goal and then 2 goals. I believe I've got the second goal on video. It was a really good goal. It was a really good game, and Marcus Browne had great movement up front. It was a really fun first half to watch. A couple boys made their debuts. I know for a fact that Long made his debut and that Holland made his debut. Holland looked good on the left wing. He was lively, as was Long in the back. Eastwood didn't have a huge amount to do. The 1 goal he couldn't keep out. It was a one-on-one. Everyone had thrown themselves on the floor on a fast break. But Oxford had a lot of control, and they looked really good, and they looked like the Oxford team that we enjoyed in the first half of the season. Oh my god, and then the second half started. It was the most laboured, poor defensive performance you've ever seen. The wind was whipping off the west end of the pitch, which, by the way, there is no stand, as you all know. It was whipping in. Eastwood kept trying to boot the ball forward. It was 40 foot in the air. It'd get caught by the wind and just driven straight down back onto the pitch, where Blackpool were pushing high and really exerting a lot of pressure on Oxford, and it was incredibly nerve-wracking. No subs for the first 75 minutes. You started to get really worried, and then Henry came off. Henry and Ruffles had a really good half in the midfield. They were really strong, as was Brannigan, so when Henry came off, it was a little bit like, what are they going to do? But they brought Kelly on, who had a decent debut, didn't get a huge amount of touches, but got to touch the ball a little bit. But Blackpool continued to exert tons of pressure. Ex-Premier League Nathan Delfonso came on. He must be absolutely livid to have gone from Aston Villa in the Premier League to League One side Blackpool, who are falling down the table with reckless abandon. Again, Browne playing up front had a couple nice touches. I think he laid someone in who missed by a couple inches. But Oxford had such a hard time getting out of their half, and it didn't seem like they wanted to. It was, I've heard a couple people say they just needed to get the win, but it was the most dangerous way to do it. It was really tough to watch. Mackie came on at the end, moved Browne to the outside of the pitch.
And then he went up front and he did quite literally nothing, but he was only on the pitch for 5 minutes, so you can't really blame him for that. It was a really good win on the whole for them. Blackpool really pushed them though, and this isn't a side that should be pushing a side that's trying to get promoted. Blackpool looked a league below at times to Oxford, but Oxford had such a hard time. The wings were always wide open in the first half, and they just didn't seem that interested in playing it up the wing, and that's where all their good attacking play came from. So hopefully, in the next match, they'll be able to move on and do that. Very end of the match, God knows what they're thinking. It's like the 94th minute, and they just play the ball to a Blackpool attacker, one-on-one with Simon Eastwood, and everyone in the ground is already head in their hands. We've already written the storyline, 2-2, Oxford blow it at the end of the match, and he misses. He misses, and cue the chant, "You're fucking shit, you're fucking shit," which was really funny, and it was fair because Oxford deserved the win, and if they'd drawn it on that, you would have just been absolutely fuming. I mean, how terrible would that have been? Really happy that I went to the game, really enjoyable for those who were there. It was absolutely freezing cold, so credit to all the Yellows fans that came out. Blackpool as well, credit to you boys. You were incredibly loud up until the final half an hour, at which point I think the entire stadium would have liked the match to have just ended. Or maybe Mr. Kazam, put another stand up, because it's freezing cold in that stadium. The wind just came in and made us all icy. But Oxford won 2-1. Really good game. Really happy with that. I'm sure Ian will have some sort of commentary on it. But yeah, thank you for following. Thank you for liking our channel. Thank you for continuing to watch these sort of reviews. And I'm really happy I got to do an Oxford review this week instead of Ian with one of my sarcastic sign-offs. So please, everybody, have a nice day. Have a nice week. Enjoy the rest of the weekend of football. And if you're looking for detailed football analysis, probably in the right place.